Lumos. Hello everyone, welcome back to Marvelous Marauders. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic characters in modern literature, Harry James Potter. But before we get started, let me quickly explain how the rating system works, so you know exactly how we're scoring him. We'll be evaluating Harry on 3 key categories. First, morality. How close he is to being purely good or purely evil on a scale of 1 to 5. Likability. How well he's liked by other characters and by the fandom, also on a scale of 1 to 5. And finally, character. How well written and complex is his character? Whether he feels like a real person or a two-dimensional figure, also rated from 1 to 5. Once we've rated him in each of these categories, we'll average the score for his final rating. The final score will give us an overall picture of Harry's character. So let's jump right into it with morality rating. First up, let's talk about Harry's morality. Throughout the series, Harry is portrayed as a character who, no matter the personal cost, always does what he believes is right. He's a classic example of a hero who sacrifices everything for the greater good. But that does not mean he's perfect. He struggles with his emotions, makes impulsive decisions, and at times even bends the rules to accomplish his goals. From the very beginning, we see that Harry is willing to put others before himself. In the Sorcerer's Stone, he risks his life to stop Voldemort from getting the stone. Not because he wants glory, but because he knows it's the right thing to do. The same selflessness continues throughout the series. In the Chamber of Secrets, he enters the Basilisk's chamber to save Ginny, fully aware that he may not come back. In the Goblet of Fire, despite facing one deadly task after another, he refuses to abandon Cedric Diggory. He even tries to let Cedric take the Triwizard Cup, showing that he values fairness and teamwork over personal victory. And in the Deathly Hallows, he willingly walks into the forest to sacrifice himself, knowing that it's the only way to stop Voldemort. But Harry isn't without his flaws. His strong sense of justice sometimes leads him to make rash decisions. A great example is Order of the Phoenix, where his frustration and anger at being left in the dark pushes him to act recklessly. His decision to lead his friends to the Department of Mysteries is well-intentioned. He truly believes Sirius is in danger. But it ultimately results in Sirius's death. That moment highlights one of Harry's biggest moral struggles. He doesn't always think before he acts, and sometimes his emotions cloud his judgment. The same battle at the Ministry of Magic also gives us one of the most interesting moments in Harry's moral journey. After witnessing Sirius's death, Harry, in a blind rage, casts the Cruciatus Curse on Bellatrix Lestrange, but it doesn't work the way it did when she used it on others. Bellatrix even mocks him, telling him that righteous anger isn't enough to truly make someone suffer. This moment is crucial, because it shows that while Harry is capable of using dark magic, his heart isn't in it the way the true dark wizards' hearts are. He simply doesn't have the desire to cause pain for pain's sake. Then, right after that, we get an even bigger moral moment when Voldemort briefly takes over his body, causing him unbearable pain. But instead of breaking, Harry finds strength in his love for Sirius and his friends. That love is what forces Voldemort out of his mind, proving that even in the darkest moments, Harry chooses love over hate. It's one of the most powerful moral triumphs in the series. Another interesting aspect of Harry's morality is that he doesn't shy away from using force when he feels it's necessary. In Half-Blood Prince, he casts Sectum Sempra on Draco Malfoy without knowing what the spell even does, nearly killing him in the process. And in Deathly Hallows, he later uses the Cruciatus Curse again, this time successfully, on Amicus Caro, after Caro spits in Professor McGonagall's face. These moments show that Harry isn't above using power, but he only does so in extreme situations. So where does all of this leave Harry on the morality scale? He's undoubtedly a hero, but he's not without his flaws. He doesn't always make the right choices, and sometimes his emotions lead him to act impulsively. But at his core, he's always fighting for what he believes is right. That's why I'm giving him a 4 out of 5. He's definitely leaning towards good, but his imperfections make him more nuanced than just pure good character. Now let's talk about Harry's likability. This one is tricky, because while he's the protagonist of the series, he's not universally loved by all fans. Some see him as brave and selfless, while others find him moody and reckless. So let's break it down. First, let's talk about why people like Harry. He's an underdog. From the start, he grows up in an abusive household, completely unaware of his true identity, and then suddenly learns he's a wizard. And the most famous one of that? But instead of letting that fame go to his head, he remains humble. He never seeks attention for his accomplishments. In fact, he actively tries to avoid it. In Sorcerer's Stone, he doesn't brag about stopping Voldemort. In Chamber of Secrets, he's uncomfortable with everyone calling him the heir of Slytherin. And in Goblet of Fire, he doesn't even want to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. These moments make him easy to root for, because he never asks for the spotlight. It's always forced on him. Another reason people connect with Harry is his loyalty. He fiercely protects his friends, standing up for Ron and Hermione whenever they're in trouble. One of the best examples of this is in Prisoner of Azkaban, when he threatens to curse Malfoy for insulting Hermione. His friendship feels real because they aren't perfect. He argues with Ron multiple times throughout the series, but those fights make their bond stronger. His flaws make him relatable, and his loyalty makes him admirable. But now let's talk about why some people don't like Harry. As the series goes on, he becomes moodier, especially in the Order of the Phoenix. His anger at being left out of the fight against Voldemort makes him lash out at his friends, and while his reaction is understandable, it rubs some readers the wrong way. It's one of the most divisive aspects of his character. Some see it as realistic teenager frustration, while others think he's too whiny. Voldemort killed my parents. The reality is, Harry's been dealing with his trauma his whole life. He's lost his parents, faced Voldemort multiple times, and completely feels like he's being used by the adults around him. His anger isn't random. It's the result of years of stress. Still, doesn't make it any easier for fans to prefer protagonists with a more upbeat personality. Another issue some fans have is that Harry can be reckless. He often jumps into danger without thinking things through. The best example of this is, again, in Order of the Phoenix, when he rushes to the Department of Mysteries without verifying if Sirius is actually in danger. His impulsiveness gets his godfather killed, which is frustrating for readers who want him to be more careful. But at the same time, that recklessness is part of what makes him feel real. He's not a perfect hero. He makes mistakes and he learns from them. So where does he land on the likability scale? He's a great protagonist with strong values, but his flaws, his temper, his impulsiveness, and his occasional moodiness can make him frustrating for some fans. But overall, his loyalty, humility, and determination make him easy to root for. I'm giving him a 4 out of 5. Not the most universally beloved character, but still a hero that many fans deeply connect with. Now let's dive into what makes Harry such a compelling character. A great protagonist isn't just someone who's heroic or likable. They need depth, complexity, and growth. And that's where Harry truly shines. He's not just a chosen one trope. His journey is one of self-discovery, resilience, and ultimately sacrifice. One of the strongest aspects of Harry's character is how much he evolves throughout the series. When we first meet him in Sorcerer's Stone, he's this wide-eyed, curious kid, completely new to the wizarding world. He's a humble, polite, and honestly just happy to belong somewhere. But as the series progresses, we see him harden. His experiences, loss after loss. Cedric in the Goblet of Fire, Sirius in the Order of Phoenix, Dumbledore in the Half-Blood Prince. Each of these deaths changes him, making him more guarded, more determined, and at times more cynical. By Deathly Hallows, he's no longer the boy who's just reacting to what happened around him. He's actively making the hard choices and leading the fight. Another thing that makes Harry such a well-written character is his emotional depth. He's not just a fearless hero. He struggles with self-doubt, anger, and grief. He questions himself constantly. In Half-Blood Prince, he wonders if he's really chosen to defeat Voldemort, or if it's all just a mistake. In Order of the Phoenix, he worries that he might be turning into Voldemort himself because of their connections. These moments make him feel real because, unlike a stereotypical fantasy hero, he doesn't always have unwavering confidence. He doubts himself the way any real person would in his position. And let's talk about the weight of his trauma. From the very beginning, Harry is shaped by loss. He doesn't just lose his parents. He grows up in an abusive household, completely reminded that he's unwanted. When he finally finds a home at Hogwarts, he's immediately thrown into life-threatening situations. Every year. The weight of being the chosen one is something he never asked for, yet he carries it anyway. And what's even more interesting is that he never uses his trauma as an excuse. He doesn't let his pain turn him cruel or selfish. Instead, he channels it into protecting others. Another thing that makes Harry such a strong character is his balance between strength and vulnerability. He's brave, but he's not invincible. He faces real struggles. His fear of losing the people he loves, his frustration with being kept in the dark, and his struggle with his own identity. He's powerful, but he's also human. That balance is what makes him so compelling. So when it comes to character depth and development, Harry is easily one of the strongest written protagonists in modern literature. He's layered, he grows in believable ways, and his journey is both inspiring and heartbreaking. Because of that, I'm giving him a 5 out of 5. He's one of the best developed characters in the entire series. Alright, time to average the scores. Here's what we have. Morality, 4. Likability, 4. Character, 5. Now we average those, which gives us a final rating of 4. So Harry Potter's final rating is 4. He's a character who's mostly good, widely loved, and incredibly well written. He's a hero, but he's not perfect. And that's exactly what makes him so compelling. Thanks for watching. What do you think? Do you agree with my rating, or would you rank Harry differently? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and stay tuned for next week, where we'll be rating another iconic character in the wizarding world. Until next time, keep casting spells and questioning the wizarding world. Nox.